You're listening to the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast. Just a quick heads up before we get started with this episode, I wanted to let you know about a free resource for listeners of the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast. That means you. If you are planning your next trip abroad, or if you're just getting back out into the world again, maybe you're going to an event or to a festival or to a meetup, that you need to be prepared for what to say when you meet someone for the first time. Download our free Spanish conversation guide so that you'll be prepared to have a conversation with anyone that you meet for the first time in Spanish. We give you a list of the most common questions that you'll be asked and that you may want to ask someone when you meet them for the first time, along with the responses so that you can be prepared when you have that conversation in less than 30 minutes. So to get your free conversation guide, just go to SpanishConversationGuide.com. Simple, right? SpanishConversationGuide.com to download your quick guide to prep for your first Spanish conversation.
Bienvenidos.
Welcome to the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast.
Here's your host,
Certified Language Coach,
Tamara Marie.
Hola, bienvenidos al episodio 227. Welcome to episode 227 of the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast. In this episode, we are going to be breaking down the lyrics to another one of my favorite songs. So last episode, we took a look at Bad Bunny's song, Baile Inolvidable, which was a rare salsa song for him. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at a song by Romeo Santos, which is in the genre called Bachata, which, if again you listen to the podcast, you're probably aware Bachata is a genre of music and dance from the Dominican Republic. And this song actually is not a brand new song, but it is a very good song. And the reason why I'm going into this is because I recently got an email from a listener who asked about using the verb llevar versus the verb traer. So in next week's episode, I'm going to go into a detailed breakdown of uses of traer and llevar and why it might be a little bit confusing. But in this episode, I wanted to go right into the song Llévame Contigo because it has the verb llevar in the title. I encourage you to go to our website, learnspanishconsalsa.com/227, so that you can listen to the episode there. And you can also listen to the song. It does have one of the best guitar riffs I think I've ever heard. I really love that song. It's actually the reason why I bought a guitar and tried to learn how to play, just so I could learn how to play the intros to the song. So it's really beautiful. If you haven't heard it before, make sure you check it out on our website, learnspanishconsalsa.com/227 for episode 227 of the podcast. And there, again, you'll find the lyrics and also the video of the song, as always. So I wanted to say before we get started, though, if you've been enjoying these breakdowns and learning Spanish with music, if you love Latin music, if you love salsa dancing, if you love Zumba, then you might really enjoy our Learn Spanish with Music course. So we actually do break down the lyrics of classic and contemporary salsa songs, but we also have a lesson to go along with each one. So we show you we show you words that you can use in the music from the song lyrics that you can actually put into practice in your daily conversations in Spanish. We also give you some lessons, some listening practice, and some other activities to really reinforce the vocabulary that you're learning in the song. And it's just a lot of fun to learn that way. We have a beginner level and intermediate level, so no matter where you are with your Spanish, you'll definitely benefit from this course. And you'll also add some amazing songs to your playlist. So if you're interested in learning Spanish with music, we are offering a few bonuses. If you sign up for the course, you will get lifetime access, but you will also get our Spanish pronunciation mastery course, which will walk you through literally every single letter of the alphabet and sound of the Spanish language, so you can practice your pronunciation and lose your gringo accent, and you'll actually get one-on-one feedback from a member of our team for any words that you might be mispronouncing. This is not an AI program. You actually hear from our team. So if you're interested in that, as well as our Spanish Vocabulary Booster course will be your second bonus, where we go through over 100 Spanish idiomatic phrases. So these are expressions that you cannot translate directly into English. You'll get lifetime access to that course as well when you enroll in the Learn Spanish with Music course. So if you're interested in that and you really love learning Spanish with music, go to SpanishConsalsa.com/music That's SpanishConSalsa.com/music, and you'll be able to grab those 2 bonus courses along with our Learn Spanish with Music course. All right. So now let's get into the lyrics of the song Llévame Contigo by Romeo Santos. And I'll start by just saying the title of the song means take me with you. So this llévame is literally the command tense of the verb llevar, but it's tacked on that subject pronoun me, or me, right, in English. So it's saying take me with you. Llévame contigo. And if you remember from our last episode, we also had the word contigo, which means with you. And even though in English that's a phrase where it's 2 different words, in Spanish contigo is just one word, contigo, contigo, but it means with you, right? So that's just starting out. So we already have a use of llevar in the title of the song. Now let's get into the lyrics. So it starts out, and again, this song is a little Spanglish, so I am not going to review the English parts, but he starts out and he says, hey, and this is actually before the verse starts. It says, escucha las palabras de Romeo. So if you've heard any Romeo Santos or Aventura songs in the past, then you're probably familiar with this. It's kind of like something that's like whispered in the background. It's like before the song or during the song, but it just says, escucha las palabras de Romeo. So literally listen to the words of Romeo, listen to my words. But then the verse starts. So he goes, no sé si has cambiado de opinión y no te vas. All right, so I don't know if you've changed your mind and you're not leaving. Okay, so this no te vas is that you're not going or you're not leaving. And then no sé, if you're probably familiar with, means I don't know. This si has cambiado de opinión. So if you have changed your mind. So literally it looks like, from an English speaker, it's like, oh, did you change your opinion or did you have a change of opinion? But in English, we would say changed your mind, right? So did you, have a change of heart? Did you change your mind and decide not to leave? Then it says, si tu vuelvo de las 3 canceleras. Si tu vuelvo de las 3 canceleras. So if you will cancel your 3 o'clock flight. So that canceleras is the future tense of the verb cancelar, which is to cancel, very easy. And tu vuelo is a flight. So vuelo de las 3 is a 3 o'clock flight. So then he asks a question, ¿Cómo me invento arte de magia? ¿Cómo me invento arte de magia? So this arte de magia is kind of a phrase. It means like sort of like a magic trick or some type of spell to put on someone. He's saying, how do I invent some kind of magic trick? Like, how do I come up with some sort of spell? And it says, como logro que me ames mucho más. Como logro que me ames mucho más. So how do I get you to love me more? So he's trying to like put a spell on her, I guess. We're thinking of, well, how can I invent some way to like change your mind and get you to stay, to get you to love me more? So again, it's funny, like a lot of bachata songs are kind of whiny, I would say. Like maybe not whiny is not a good word, but just this song is about begging, right? That's kind of the thing of the song. He's saying, take me with you. And then he's kind of going through all these things like, well, if you don't take me with you, how can I change that? So yeah, the song is definitely begging. And actually later in the song, I think he says, who's the best at begging? So he says that in English. Okay, so then he says, sé que tal vez no lo digas, pero me ves un llorón. Sé que tal vez no lo digas, pero me ves un llorón. All right, so let's break this down. So sé que is I know that, right? So yo sé, yo lo sé. Okay, so those are ways of saying like I know. So sé que is I know that. And then tal vez is like maybe, right? Perhaps. So tal vez no lo digas. So maybe you don't say it to me. So that no lo digas is, so digas is you say, right? So maybe you don't say it. But me ves un llorón. So that me ves un llorón is like you see me. You see me as a crybaby. So llorón is like a big crybaby. So you see me like I'm whining, like I said before, right? A lot of these songs are kind of like that. So sé que tal vez no lo digas, pero me ves un llorón. So I know you don't say it, but you see me like I'm a big baby right now. Y ese maldito viaje ya se confirmó. Y ese maldito viaje ya se confirmó. So ese maldito viaje is kind of like, oh, that damn trip, right? That, right? Because he's mad she's leaving, apparently. Ya se confirmó is it's already confirmed. So you've already said that you're going on this trip. And he's calling it maldito because apparently he's not happy about it, that fact that she's leaving. Then he says, solo recuerda si me dejas, no se vale. Solo recuerda si me dejas, no se vale. So let's take this part by part. So this solo recuerda, he's telling her to remember. So just remember. So in this case, solo is just. Just remember, si me dejas, if you leave me. So this dejar is the verb to leave. So he's saying like if you leave me behind. So si me dejas, if you leave me, no se vale. Now, no se vale is more of like a phrase, but it just means that like it's not fair. It's not fair if you leave me, and I want you to remember that. So he is really putting it on there, trying to cause a guilt trip. Te sugiero por favor. Te sugiero por favor. So he's saying, I suggest to you, please. And then in this part of the song, he says, te sugiero. So this is, I suggest to you. So sugiero. And then por favor, of course, you all know what that means. And in the song, when you listen to it, there's actually a female voice that comes in after this, and she starts going, please, please. So again, you can see it really emphasizes that he's begging. And then we go into the chorus of the song. So that's where it says, Llévame Contigo, and that's repeated over and over again before every line. So the chorus starts, Llévame Contigo, and then he says, que no aguanto la aflicción, que no aguanto la aflicción. So this no me aguanto is, or no aguanto is like, I can't stand it, I can't bear it. And la aflicción is like the pain of it, like, oh, I can't stand the pain. And then he says, Llévame Contigo again. No seas malita. No, no, no. No seas malita. So there's no seas malita is like from the word mal, right? Which is like bad. So malita, this is actually the diminutive, right? Form of mala. So he's saying, don't be bad. Don't be mean to me. If you leave me behind, that would be really sad. And then it says again, llévame contigo. Y si te vas de vacación. Y si te vas de vacación. So te vas is if you leave it, you're leaving, right? So y si te vas. So and if you leave de vacación. So in English we would just say if you go on vacation, right? The same if you leave for a vacation. And it says again, llévame contigo. So if you're going on vacation, take me with you. Aunque sea de chaperón. Aunque sea de chaperón. Okay, so this is kind of interesting the way he's saying this. So aunque sea is kind of like even if, even if that's the case, right? But de chaperón is kind of like, this is kind of a strange line. So it really means chaperone, like a chaperone on a field trip, right? It's almost like, I don't care what you call me, just take me, right? Like even if I'm the chaperone, even if I'm just there as like your wingman or whatever it is, right? Like he's not saying he necessarily needs to go in a certain capacity as like, being her friend or that they're in a relationship. He just wants to be there, which is kind of sad. But that aunque sea is like kind of like even if it's that aunque sea de chaperón. And then it says again, llévame contigo o habrá desolación. O habrá desolación. Again, very, very dramatic. So habrá, this is actually interesting use of the future tense of the verb haber. So if you're familiar with haber in the present tense, you have like the word I, which H-A-Y, the H being silent. So I is like there is or there are. Like I could say, hay 3 meses in el invierno, right? There's 3 months in winter. But if I want to say there will be, I would use habrá. And again, this is another very irregular verb. Haber is usually irregular, so it's not haberá, it's habrá. And this is like the third person singular. So habrá desolación, which again, just for English, like desolation, right? Just like scorched earth, right? Like if you leave me behind, he's like saying like the world is basically gonna end. So again, very, very dramatic. That's not one that I would use in a conversation, but it is useful to know that habrá means there will be in the future tense. And then he says, Llévame Contigo. Ponle fin a mi temor. Ponle fin a mi temor. So this ponle fin is like put an end to this. Put an end to it. A mi temor is like my fear. So clearly he's freaking out that she's leaving. He's like, please take me with you. That way I don't have to stress out about this and write this crazy song. Okay. And then this is kind of a part, I guess it's sort of like a bridge, but it's sort of the tail end of the chorus where he's asking a question. ¿Dónde se fue tu amor? Para buscarlo rápido. So, ¿Dónde se fue tu amor? Is like, and where did your love go? ¿Dónde se fue? Where did it go? Se fue is like it went, right? Para buscarlo rápido. So he's saying so that I can find it quickly. Like, tell me where it went and I can go look for it. Invent that magic spell and get you to stay. All right. So that's kind of the chorus. That it kind of goes into like some more music. The guitar is kind of going. Again, very, very beautiful song. Definitely go to learnspanishconsalsa.com/227 so you can hear the song and just hear the opening guitar and the guitar as we come out of the chorus. And then it comes into the next verse where he says, para ti, hasta siempre te amaré, fue un refrán. So para ti is like for you, and hasta siempre te amaré. So hasta siempre, think of it as a phrase. Don't try to break that down word by word, but it's sort of like forever, right? Or this will always be the case. Hasta siempre te amaré. So it's another future tense. So this is the verb amar, to love, but in the future, amaré. So it's I will love. Te amaré is I will love you. So he's saying para ti, for you, saying that I will always love you was a saying. So fue un refrán is it was a saying. So refrán is something you say over and over again, right? So he's saying that was like just something he used to say a lot. Y el matrimonio, un papel que romperás. Y el matrimonio, un papel que romperás. So we have another future tense verb here, romper, which is to break or to tear in the future. So this romperás is you will tear it apart, right? So el matrimonio is like marriage, is a, so un papel que romperás, just like a piece of paper that you'll just rip it up, tear it apart. Si es que acaso queda un poco de cariñito. Si es que acaso queda un poco de cariñito. So this is si es, so if, right? So si es, so if there is, que acaso. Okay, so this one, again, something that you want to look at as like a full phrase. Si es que acaso queda. So if in the case that there is a little bit of affection left, so in the case that's left over, so queda, or that's left, un poco de cariñito, so a little bit of love, a little bit of affection, a little bit of tenderness. So this is again the diminutive form of the word cariño and cariñito. So it's like, is there just a little bit, right? Even there's just like a teeny tiny part of you that still has some affection for me. And then he says, the ultimate in desperation, regálame tu amistad. Regálame tu amistad. So this is from the verb regalar, which is to give as a gift or to gift someone with. And tu amistad is your friendship. So basically, if you even like me still a little bit, please make me your friend. Put me in the friend zone. That's like the ultimate, put me in the friend zone. If everything else I'm saying isn't working, keep me in the friend zone so I can be there just in case. So that's kind of how the second verse ends. Then the chorus repeats over it again. And then the last part of the song I'm not going to go through because it's actually in English. He kind of says, take me with you, so you can probably understand that part. So that is the ultimate in begging, the ultimate in please just keep me around. I could be a chaperone. I could be your friend. Just don't leave. So yeah, but it's still like a great song for the guitar, even if it's a little bit desperate sounding. Okay, so I hope you never have to say these things to someone exactly, but I am going to explain to you 5 phrases from this song that you can use in conversation and not sound so sad or pathetic or be begging someone, but just things that you could use in normal conversation. All right, so the first phrase is contigo. Contigo. And this is, again, really, really basic, like with you. And you can use this without begging someone to take you on vacation, like he says in the song, Llévame Contigo. But you could just say, hey, si vas al supermercado, llévame contigo. Hey, if you're going to the store, take me with you because I have to get some things, right? Doesn't have to be so desperate. You can also say, prefiero estudiar contigo que solo. Prefiero estar contigo que solo. So this que solo is then, right? So I prefer to study with you than alone, right? So a lot of this, if you're familiar with like body doubling or just having a study partner, this again, very, very normal phrase you could use in day-to-day conversation. Like I prefer to do this with you. And again, it doesn't have to be as dramatic as the example in this song. The second phrase from the song that you can use in conversation is te sugiero. Te sugiero. So this is like I suggest to you. So this is great if you're trying to give a recommendation or an opinion. In the song, he says, te sugiero por favor, llévame contigo, right? So like he doesn't die of like desolation and I don't know, loneliness. But again, you can use it in daily conversation where it's not as dramatic. And I will caution you that usually this te sugiero, because you're giving a suggestion or recommendation, it can trigger the use of the subjunctive, but there is a way around that. So I'm going to give you an example with the subjunctive that's a little more advanced, but if you don't want to bother with that, I'll give you a simpler example that you can use, all right? So I could say, te sugiero que pruebes la versión vegana. Te sugiero que pruebes la versión vegana. So I suggest that you try the vegan version, which I actually do. Most meals, you'd be surprised, are probably really good without meat and dairy. But anyway, in this case, it's saying que pruebes. So this is the verb probar in the subjunctive in the tu form. So te sugiero, I suggest that you pruebes. So in this case, you have to use the subjunctive, but if you're not at that level yet and you haven't really figured that out, you can still use te sugiero. Just don't use the que, all right? So it's a subtle difference. So if I say te sugiero que, I'm saying I suggest that you do something. So that is saying I am talking about an action that I want you to do specifically. So now I'm going to have to use the subjunctive. Or if I'm saying I suggest that a group of people do something, I still have to use the subjunctive for ellos, right? So if we want to get around that and make it simpler, I can just use the infinitive of the verb. So for example, I could just say, te sugiero probar la versión vegana. So that's just saying I suggest that someone tries, or like that it be tried, right? It doesn't like give a direct reference to who should try it. It's just saying like a general statement. So even though clearly when someone says that, they know you're implying that you should do it. But again, it's just a way to get around with having to learn the entire subjunctive conjugation to really be able to use te sugiero. You can always just say te sugiero and the infinitive. Another example of that, te sugiero llegar temprano. El tráfico se pone feo. Te sugiero llegar temprano. El tráfico se pone feo. So I suggest you get here early, or I suggest you arrive early because traffic is pretty bad. So se pone feo is like traffic looks ugly, like traffic is bad today. So again, te sugiero is something you can definitely use to make a suggestion. Phrase 3 that you can use from the song is no aguanto. No aguanto. So, in the song he was saying, I can't stand if you leave me. But you could just say, talking about like things that you're complaining about in daily life, which, you probably don't want to be too much of a complainer, but sometimes you might just need to express a little frustration. It really just means like I can't stand something. So in the song, he's like, no aguanto la aflicción. But you could say like, if it's really, really hot out and you don't like the heat, you can say, no aguanto este calor. No aguanto este calor. So it's like, I can't stand this heat. Or no aguanto cuando la gente interrumpe. No aguanto cuando la gente interrumpe. So I can't stand when people interrupt. So again, definitely something that comes up in daily life where you want to express a little bit of frustration. It really just means like I can't stand this, or I can't bear it a minute longer. And then we have no se vale. So I explained earlier where he was saying, like si me dejas no se vale, like if you leave me it's not fair. But you can just use this to express your opinion about things that you think shouldn't be, right? So, for example, me cambiaste la cita sin avisar. No se vale. Me cambiaste la cita sin avisar. No se vale. So, like, you changed the appointment without advising me, without any notice. That is not cool, right? That's not fair. You could say like dos contra uno no se vale. Dos contra uno no se vale. So think about it like if you're playing a game or in a fight, 2 against 1, that is not fair. Or it's not allowed, right? It could just be against the rules of the game. So you could say no se vale. So again, think of this as a full phrase. Don't try to break it down word by word. But it's just something very useful to be able to say in conversation. And the last phrase that we're going to take from this song is no seas mala. The male version of that is no seas malo. And in the song, he uses the diminutive, so no seas malita. But in this case, it's just kind of saying don't be mean, right? And like I said, in the song, he's begging. But it's just kind of a way of saying something like, hey, don't do that. Like that's mean. Why would you do that? So example, you can say, dame un pedazo de tu pastel. No seas malo. Okay, so give me a piece of your cake. Don't be mean. Or déjame terminar mi punto. No seas mala. So let me finish my point. Don't be mean, right? So again, this is just like a way to just, and again, it's very direct language. This is the command tense, so you probably don't want to use this in a formal situation. But it's really just to kind of be firm with what you're saying. Like, hey, don't be mean. Don't do that. Don't do that, right? So those are our 5 phrases from the song. We have contigo, with you. Te sugiero, I suggest that you do something. No aguanto, I can't stand it. No se vale is not fair. And no seas mala or no seas malo, like don't be mean, do not be bad, all right? So those are the phrases from the song. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown of the song Llévame Contigo by Romeo Santos. As always, make sure you go to our show notes page, learnspanishconsalsa.com/227 for episode 227 of the podcast, where you'll see our show notes. You'll get to hear the song and the lyrics and the phrases that we went through. And don't forget that if you are interested in learning Spanish with music, and this is something that appeals to you, make sure you check out our Learn Spanish with Music course. Like I said, you'll also get the bonuses of our pronunciation mastery and vocabulary booster courses, where you'll learn how to pronounce words in Spanish properly and idiomatic phrases like no se vale that are used in daily conversation. And our Learn Spanish with Music course, which is really our flagship course. It's really the most fun way to learn Spanish from beginner through intermediate levels. You'll add a ton of songs to your playlist and you'll enjoy learning the language. So if you haven't checked it out yet, SpanishConsalsa.com/music. As always, I hope something that you heard in this episode has helped you go one step closer from beginner to bilingual. Hasta la próxima.
Thank you for listening to the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast at learnspanishconsalsa.com.